Welcome to Environmental Engineering 1, Module 3, Part 2. We are discussing about water treatment methods. In the previous class, we already discussed the screening and the aeration process in the water treatment process. Next process is plain sedimentation. Most of the suspended impurities present in water having a specific gravity greater than 1. In still water, these impurities settle down due to gravity. In normal water, these impurities remain in suspension because of the turbulence of water. If turbulence is present, then time taken for sedimentation will be more. A sedimentation tank is provided to reduce the velocity of flow so as to permit suspended solids to settle out by gravity. Settling basins are ponds constructed for purpose of removing entrained solids by sedimentation. Next, we have to go for how this process is happening. This is a bird's eye view of plain sedimentation tanks for a large water treatment plant. Then the theory of sedimentation. Settlement of particles depends on the following factors. First one, the velocity of flow. Second one, the viscosity of water. Third one, size, shape, and specific gravity of particles. First one, the velocity of flow. Velocity, due to the velocity of water, the suspended particles carried from one position to another. It is transported horizontally. If the flow area is greater, then lesser will be the velocity and more easily the particle can settle down. And viscosity of water. Then the second one is viscosity of water. High viscous water resists the settling of particles because due to the viscosity, the particles will not settle because of they are suspended in the water itself. The third factor is size, shape, and specific gravity of particles. Greater the specific gravity, more easily the particles will settle down. If the specific gravity of the suspended particles is more than the specific gravity of water, then the settlement procedure will be easier. Then small particles settle down very slowly because of their lesser weight, they are suspended in the water itself. And the shape of the particles. If the shape of the particle is round, then the settlement will be more. If it is an irregular shape, then the friction will be more. Then it will be suspended in the water itself. Then, next is the derivation of Stokes law. If the particle is suspended in water, initially two forces acts on the particle. Those are gravity force and the buoyant force. Gravity force, as you know, which allows the particles to settle down. Buoyant force is the opposing force. That is, it opposes the motion of settlement. When a solid particle settles down in water, its downward settlement is opposed by a drag force offered by the water. The effective weight of a particle, that is gravity force minus the buoyant force, causes the particles to accelerate in the beginning. It attains a sufficient velocity Vs at which the drag force becomes equal to the effective weight of the particles. Then it will settle down more easily. After attaining that velocity, the particles settle down with the constant velocity. This is the theory of Stokes law. Then we will move on to the equation of Stokes law. The settling velocity of particles is given by Vs is equal to G divided by 18 mu into G minus 1 into D square, where Vs is the settling velocity in centimeter per second, G is the acceleration due to gravity in centimeter per second square, that is 981 centimeter per second square, mu is the viscosity of water, that is 0.01 poise, G is the specific gravity of particle, and D is the diameter of the particle in centimeter. Please note down the unit of all these quantities because it is very important while substituting in this equation for solving any problem. This is the equation of Stokes. Next, the principle of settling. The suspended solids present in water having specific gravity greater than of water tends to settle down by gravity as soon as the turbulence is retarded by offering storage. This is the basic principle of settling. Then basin in which the flow retarded is called the settling tank, and the theoretical average time for which water is retained or detained in the settling tank is called the detention period. The theoretical average time for which the water is detained in the settling tank is called the detention period. It is very much important in the designing of settling tank, sedimentation tank, and all other water treatment processes. Then the types of sedimentation tanks. There are mainly two types of sedimentation tanks. That is, first one is fill and row type sedimentation tank, then continuous flow type sedimentation tank. In continuous flow type sedimentation tanks, there are two types, that is horizontal flow sedimentation tank and vertical or upflow sedimentation tank. The first one is fill and row type or intermittent type sedimentation tank. This is used for small type of water treatment and small quantity of water treatment plants. In intermittent type tanks, raw water is simply stored and kept at rest for a certain period, about 24 hours. During this rest period, the suspended particles will settle down to the bottom of the tank. The clear water from the tank is finally taken out and the tank is cleaned off and cleaned off the settled silt. The sediments are removed at that stage. The tank is again filled with raw water to continue the next operation. In the intermittent type tanks, mechanical scrappers are not provided and the tank have to be cleaned by stopping the operation of the tank. So we have to provide an extra tank for keeping continuous operation in the water treatment system, so that we can clean the intermittent type sedimentation tank, and during that cleaning process also we can treat the water in the second tank. Then the continuous flow type sedimentation tank. Water is continuously keeps on moving in the tank with a small velocity, during which the suspended particles settle down at the bottom. It provided with a mechanical scrapping device to scrap the sludge to the sludge pit, from where it is continuously or periodically removed without stopping the work of the tank. Such tanks are known as continuous flow type sedimentation tank. In larger water treatment processes, these continuous flow type sedimentation tanks are usually accepted. In such tank, flow velocity is only reduced and the water is not brought to complete rest. There are two types of continuous flow sedimentation tanks, that are horizontal flow tanks and vertical upflow tank. The first one is horizontal flow tank. As the name suggests, the flow will be horizontal. The water entered into the tank horizontally and it moves out horizontally. In the horizontal flow sedimentation tank, as the name indicates, the flow is in horizontal direction. That means water enters in one side and it flows horizontally, so that is known as a horizontal flow sedimentation tank. There are two types of horizontal flow sedimentation tank. First one is rectangular tank with a longitudinal flow and circular tank with a radial flow. Longitudinal flow means water enters from one side and it moves out at the other side. In the circular tank or the radial flow tank, the water enters into the system through the center and it moves out from the periphery of the circular tank. These are the two types of horizontal flow sedimentation tank. Then vertical flow sedimentation tank. In a vertical flow sedimentation tank, water flow direction is in the vertical direction. That means water enters in the tank from the bottom portion and it comes up and it distributes and it is collected from the topper part of the sedimentation tank. Is a circular settling tank in which the black color shown, that is in the form of a truss. It is the mechanical scrapers which is used for removing the sediments from the bottom of the circular settling tank. In this, the influent that is shown at the center, influence is coming through the center and it is distributed throughout the body through the center. And the sludge is collected at the center because the bottom shape is hoppered and the sediments are collected at the center and it is removed through the sludge discharge pipe. And the settled down or cleared water is collected through the effluent collector or overflow weir that is shown in the figure. Then the rectangular tank with the longitudinal flow. Basins are hydraulically more stable. A typical long rectangular tank having length ranging from 2 to 4 times their width. This is very important while designing a rectangular sedimentation tank. The bottom is slightly sloped to remove the settled sludge very easily. Slow-moving mechanical sludge scraper continuously pulls the settled materials into a sludge hopper from where it is pumped out periodically. This is a basic structure of rectangular tank with a longitudinal flow. This is a pictorial representation of rectangular tank with a horizontal flow in which the inlet is provided at one end and the outlet is provided at the other end, that is at the effluent weir. Here, through the inlet pipe, raw water enters into the tank and it is distributed through the perforated baffles. And then the center portion is the settling zone where the velocity of flow will be reduced. And due to this reduced velocity, the suspended particles will settle down and it is collected at the bottom of the tank where it is denoted as sludge zone, and you can see the hoppered position where a slope is provided and all the settled sediments are collected in this hopper and where it is removed periodically. Long rectangular sedimentation basins. Here, the mechanical scrapers are provided. The same arrangement with the mechanical scrapers. Here, the sediments deposited or sediment settles at the bottom of the rectangular settling basin is collected through these belts, and this is collected to the hoppers and From this sludge hopper, the sediments are removed periodically. And the clear water is collected through the overflow weir, and it is distributed and pumped to the other treatment systems. A long rectangular settling tank can be divided into 4 different functional zones. First one is inlet zone, second is settling zone, then outlet zone, then sludge zone. What is an inlet zone? Region in which the flow is uniformly distributed over the cross section such that the flow through the settling zone follows horizontal path. In the inlet zone, the water is distributed evenly, and so that the suspended particles or the raw water or the impurities present in the water is distributed throughout the cross section of the tank. Then second one is settling zone. Settling occurs under quiescent conditions because for settling to be happen, the drag force should be, that is the drag force should be equal to the effective weight of the particle. Then the settling velocity will be attained by the particle and settling happens. In the outlet zone, clarified effluent is collected and discharged through the outlet weir. In the sludge zone, for collection of sludge below the settling zone, the sludge collection is done from the sludge zone. This is a bird's eye view of a settling tank or a rectangular sedimentation tank having horizontal flow. By this, I am stopping this session. Then we will continue our session about circular basins in the next session. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.